People who have seen the Harry Potter movies or read the books wish that they could go to Hogwarts. It's a beautiful, magical, and intriguing part of the series. So, how was it created? Who created it? And when was it created? In this video, I'm going to explain everything, including the 4 founders. Hogwarts was founded in the 990 AD by 4 people: Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. They were 4 of the most powerful and well-respected wizards of their time, and they were all good friends. Godric Gryffindor was known for being the best duelist of his time. Salazar Slytherin was known for being a parselmouth, which means he could speak to snakes. Helga Hufflepuff was gifted in food-related spells, and Rowena and Helga were the closest. The school they decided to create was in a castle somewhere in the Highlands of Scotland. It's a very popular theory that the name and location of this school were chosen by Rowena Ravenclaw, who had a dream that a woody hog was leading her to a cliff. It's also thought that Ravenclaw came up with the ever-changing floor plan. The school had a huge piece of land with slopey lawns and a huge lake and a giant forest. Both of the forest and lake filled with many different magical creatures. They put many charms on the castle to make it impossible for any muggle to see it, and thanks to those charms, all that they would see are ruins and several warning signs of danger. Witches and wizards can apparate or disapparate, meaning magically appear or disappear anywhere in the school grounds. This was built during a time where magic was feared by the common people. They created a lot of classes for the school. Some of them are astronomy, charms, defense against the dark arts, herbology, history of magic, potions, transfigurations, Muggle studies, care for magical creatures, and a lot more. Since Hufflepuff was gifted in food-related charms, every recipe she created is still used as a recipe even in Harry's time at Hogwarts. Hufflepuff was also the one who arranged for the house elves to be the cooks for the school. She thought it would be a good way to ensure that they weren't mistreated or abused. House elves were especially mistreated. Each founder decided to have 4 houses, and each of the houses were named after one of them. Each wanted a certain selection of students for their house. Gryffindor wanted his students to be daring, brave, have courage, nerve, and chivalry. The coat of armor that he chose was a lion, which very well represented. Hufflepuff wanted her students to be loyal, patient, and honest. While the other houses had high standards, she took the students that master requirements along with those who didn't fit the others' requirements. So she basically took in the students that no one really wanted. And this made it so the school was a better place because she brought people from different backgrounds together. She chose a badger as her coat of armor. Ravenclaw wanted her students to be more intelligent and have the most wit, creativity, wisdom, and cleverness. She chose an eagle as her coat of armor. Finally, Slytherin wanted his students to be the most cunning, ambitious, resourceful, determined, and most importantly, to have good blood purity, which means he preferred purebloods, a child born from 2 wizards. The coat of armor he chose was a snake to go along with his rare ability to speak to them. Each house had their own common room. Gryffindor's is on the 7th floor, hidden beneath a portrait of the Fat Lady. To get in, you must give her a password. Hufflepuff's common room is near the kitchen, and to get in, you have to tap a fake barrel in the rhythm of Helga Hufflepuff. Ravenclaw common room was in one of the highest towers of Hogwarts. To get in, you must answer a riddle given to an eagle door knocker. Slytherin common room is in the dungeons underneath the Black Lake. It's hidden behind a stone wall, and to get in, you need a password like the Gryffindors. After many years of the founders choosing their students, they weren't sure how they were going to sort the students once they were gone. So, took off his hat, and the four of them enchanted it to sort the students long after their death, and they named it the Sorting Hat. Everything went well for the school in the earlier years, but eventually tension grew between the four founders, and it was because Slytherin despised taking in students from Muggle-born families. He tried to pursue the others to only take students from pureblood families, but the other founders didn't agree, especially Gryffindor, who was the most in favor in allowing Muggle-born students into their school. Gryffindor and Slytherin then had a massive argument, and there may have been a duel, which would spark a war between the houses. Afterwards, Slytherin chose to leave the school, but he had a secret, and the secret would ensure that the other's decision fail. Slytherin built a secret chamber underneath the school, and it was unknown to the other founders. The entrance is in the girls' bathroom. This contained a basilisk, which is a type of giant snake that has one of the biggest lifespans on Earth, and they can kill by just looking at someone in the eye. Other than Slytherin, the only other person that could awake such thing was his true heir, and he would release the basilisk many years later and purge the school of all Mugborns. Later in 1943, Tom Riddle, aka Lord Voldemort, Salazar Slytherin's true heir, would release the basilisk and it would kill a Muggle-born girl named Myrtle. Years later, open the chamber again.
I would be able to lead another to finish Salazar Slytherin's noble work.
Due that time, no one was killed, but it did petrify several students and scared the whole school, something that Salazar would have been very fond of. Each founder left behind something that they used during their life. Godric Gryffindor left a sword made by goblins that was kept as his relic after his death.
Godric Gryffindor.
It would take a true Gryffindor to pull that out of the hat.
It's special because it has a bond with the Sorting Hat, which was also made by him. Whenever a true Gryffindor needs it, the sword will appear itself through the hat. Hufflepuff left a small golden cup with a badger engraved in it, which is the same symbol as Hufflepuff's house. Rowena Ravenclaw's relic was a diadem that was said to have special powers which would enhance the wearer's wisdom. And finally, Salazar Slytherin left behind a locket which had the letter S. Later on in Rowena Ravenclaw's life, she had a daughter named Helena, who Rowena taught herself at Hogwarts. Helena was jealous of her mother's intellect, so she stole her mother's diadem, hoping to use the powers to make her wiser. Rowena was ashamed of her daughter's treason, so she hid her betrayal from everyone, even the other founders. Helena fell in love with the Baron. When her mother fell ill, Rowena asked the Baron to go find her daughter so she can see her for the last time before she died and pretend like the betrayal never happened and have one last moment together. But unfortunately, the Baron killed Helena in a moment of rage when she refused to go with him, and Rowena never saw her daughter again. She was the first of the founders to die, and it's unknown when or how did the rest of the founders died. But one thing I know is that they left behind the greatest wizarding school and legacy of magical history. This school was going to teach some of the most well-known and successful witches and wizards, having a bright future ahead.